Today we shall talk about semantic features. We are still in the domain of semantics, and as we know, this is our second lecture on semantics. By semantic features, we mean componential analysis of any given word. I think you are familiar with this idea or this concept in your second year. In your grammar book, second year, you have tackled this topic. When we have a word, we analyze this word into its semantic features, or we do what is called componential analysis to that word. When we speak, as we said last time, we put words together to make sentences. But on which basis we select these words? On which basis we choose these words to be put in a sentence? To be neighbors? What kind of relationship or relationships they have? Actually, we look for the features of each word. In grammar we have nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, and of course other close category groups. So for example, when I choose a noun in a sentence, this noun could be followed by a verb. So what kind of a verb that may follow a certain noun? For example, a noun like chair cannot be followed by a verb like drink, right? Why? Because of the features of each one of the two cannot match. They cannot be put together. Their features are different. While okay, let me give you another idea. In selecting any sentence or in having any sentence, like for example, the boy kicked the ball. A very good English sentence, a very grammatical English sentence. Always, we have said this before many times, always a native speaker can produce only grammatical sentences and only meaningful sentences, not only grammatical, but they have meaning. So, for example, a native speaker cannot make a sentence like this. The ball kicked the boy. Why? A native speaker can produce sentence 1, but he or she cannot produce sentence number 2. Look at the semantic features of these words. Let's come to this sentence, sentence number 1. Boy is a noun and is animate. Boy is animate plus human plus animate, right? Of course, there are some grammatical features. It is a noun plus singular, and it is followed by a verb which is dynamic, which is اللي هو kick. This verb is a transitive, which means it should be followed by an object. And let's look at sentence number 2. We have the word ball is a subject. But why cannot a native speaker produce a sentence like this one? Simply speaking, because the semantic features of the word ball do not match with the verb kick. Ball is a noun, is singular, but it is not human. It is minus human. That's why it cannot come with kick. So the verb kick needs a subject that is human, or at least animate, because animals can kick. That's why native speakers can produce sentence 1 but cannot produce sentence 2. Always there are semantic features that we use in order to put our words together to make full sentences and grammatical sentence. Of course, if you look back at sentence number 2, is it grammatical? Yes, it is grammatical. There is nothing wrong about its grammar. It consists of a noun phrase and a verb phrase. It consists of subject, verb, and object. Subject, verb, and object, right? So a very good English sentence as far as grammar is concerned. But we said last time, grammar alone is not enough. We need meaning. We should go to the level of meaning. That's why a native speaker cannot produce a sentence like this one. You see, the hamburger ate the boy, or the table listens to the radio, or the horse is reading the newspaper or a newspaper. There's nothing wrong about their grammar, but they are odd sentences, ill-formed sentences. Why is this? Because of their meaning. So when we speak, we need not only to put words together to make sentences as far as grammar is concerned, but we need meaning. يعني a very famous English structure is this one. A very famous English structure: noun, verb, noun, or noun phrase, verb, noun phrase. We can use this structure to make thousands of sentences. And because of this, we can generate a sentence like this one: the hamburger ate the boy, or the boy kicked the ball. But actually, we as native speakers cannot do so, because simply speaking, the verb ate or eat in present simple should have a subject which is human or animate. Human beings, animals can eat. A hamburger cannot eat. And what is eaten is not boy, not human, not animate. We eat vegetables, we eat fruits, we eat cooked meat, etc. But not human beings. That's why the sentence looks very funny, of course. But is it grammatical? Yes, it is grammatical. If it is measured against the rules of grammar, it is a very grammatical sentence. Okay? Look at the features of these words: horse, boy, man, girl, woman. If the word is animate, it takes this symbol, plus. If it is not, it takes this symbol اللي هو minus. So we give these features, or these symbols, sorry, to designate features. We use plus, minus. If the feature exists in the word, we give it plus. If the feature does not exist in the word, we give it minus. So for example, man is minus female, but it is plus adult. The difference between man and boy, for example, Man is adult, while boy is not. So man takes the property of plus adult, and boy takes the property of minus adult. A word like horse, it is plus animate, but it is minus human, right? A word like women is a plus adult, but it is minus or plus female again. It is a plus adult and a plus female. Okay, so we use these features of a plus minus to designate these features. I think the idea is very clear. We have features. If the property or the feature exists in the word, it takes plus. If it does not, it takes minus. We as native speakers, we use these features to arrange our words in the sentences to make our sentences meaningful. But of course, is this enough? No, of course, we need pragmatics. We need to go to pragmatics, which we are going to talk about in the next chapter. But now, remember, we are at the level of semantics. We are at the level of literal meaning. We are at the level of dictionary meaning. We need these componential analysis to make our sentences meaningful and acceptable. هنا بالدرس الماضي we talked about the levels of language. We said we have phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics. Semantics is very important to cover, to shroud our sentences with meaning. يعني يغلف جملنا with meaning. Otherwise, يعني why we speak? We speak in order to convey meaning. Syntax alone is not enough. The structure of the sentence is not enough. Look at this sentence. The, followed by space, is reading the newspaper. Now, what do you think is the kind of noun that can fill this space? It should be a noun. But how many nouns I have in English? I have thousands of nouns. Which noun can fill this space? Only a noun which has the property of plus human, right? Because only human beings can do what? Can read. Can animals read? No, of course. Can robots read? No, of course. Only human beings. irrespective بغض النظر يعني of any other feature, whether singular, plural, etc., but it should be plus human. Of course, it should be singular because we have the verb is here, but it should be plus human. Otherwise, the noun or any noun here cannot fit in the space, in the blank, unless it is plus human. Now let's move to another topic within semantics, اللي هو semantic roles. And by semantic roles, we mean the role which is occupied by the elements of the sentence. The roles which are occupied by the elements of the sentence. Roles that are related to meaning, not to grammar. In grammar, we have nouns, for example, we talk about noun, verb, right? And the nouns could be subject, or object. But these are in grammar. In grammar we use this terminology. هاي المصطلحات نستخدمها بالgrammar. Right? In grammar. But in semantics, the terminology is different. We are after the roles played by the items of the sentence, by the elements of the sentence. Right? So the boy, for example, ate what? An apple. The boy is a noun, of course, but it is a subject. In this sentence, it is a subject. The verb ate is a verb, and apple is a noun which is object. But in semantics, things are different. We are talking about the roles of the items of the sentence. So in this case, in semantics, boy is a doer of an action. And since it is human, we call it agent. While ate, yes, it is a verb, but it is a verb that shows an action, right? Apple is affected or recipient of an action. Or we use the term used in your book, boy is an agent. While apple is theme. You see, boy is human, and in this case it is agent, while apple is non-human. Of course, it could be human. Well, boy could be human, could be non-human, but most of the time it should be human. So apple is a theme. You see, this terminology has to do with meaning, not with the grammar. Then we are after the roles played by the subject, the roles played by the object. So instead of thinking of words as containers of meaning, we can look at the roles they fulfill within the situation described by a sentence. This is the idea. Always we look at words as having meaning. But actually they play a role. What is the meaning of boy, by the way? It has meaning. We go to the dictionary and check the meaning of boy. Noun, singular, minus adult, plus a human, right? هاي اللي حكينا عنها قبل قليل. But هاي اللي قلنا الcontainers، هذا نقصد بها containers of meaning. A meaning that we can find in a dictionary, we can check in a dictionary. But they play a role in the sentence. For example, the word boy plays the role of a doer of an action اللي سميناه agent. While these roles, semantic roles, are called thematic roles. في بعض الكتب، بعض المصادر بالsemantics, they are called thematic roles, from theme. So the idea is clear, I think. Semantic role is the role played by the items of the sentence, not referring to their grammatical roles or grammatical position in the sentence. Yes, sometimes they are related, but we are after the role played by the item. Agents and themes are the most common semantic roles. أشهر اثنين هي agent and theme. Agent, when the subject is a human and when it does an action. Agent is a human, most of the time a human, not necessarily. It could be non-human. For example, the car The car hit the boy. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. The car is agent, although it is not human. Why? Because it does an action. It does an action اللي هو hitting. But most of the time, agents are human. And the affected, as I said, could be human, could be non-human. The affected is called theme or the theme. Again, it could be human or non-human. Okay? The boy kicked the ball. هاي الأمثلة من الكتاب. The wind blew the ball away. See, the wind here, it is non-human, but it is agent. The car ran over يعني سحقتها داستها احنا نقول. The dog caught the ball. You see all these verbs. Look at this verb. Kick, blew, ran over, caught. They are actions. They refer to actions. That's why the subject, the grammatical subject, is called agent and the object is called a theme. Because بعدين نحكي. The theme is typically non-human but can be human. The dog chased the boy. Now look at the sentence. The dog chased the boy. The boy is a human and it is theme. As I said, agent could be human, could be non-human, but most of the time it is human. The theme could be human, could be non-human, but most of the time it is non-human. Instrument and experiencer. These are two other semantic roles. If an agent uses another entity in order to perform an action, the other entity fills the role of instrument. The sentence, the boy cut the rope with an old razor. You know razor, ماكينة الحلاقة أو شفرة يعني. And he drew the picture with a crayon اللي هي الأقلام الملونة. You know these things, razor, crayon, knife إلى آخره. These are instruments. We cut meat by a knife or by knife. The word knife is called an instrument. So the role played by knife in this sentence or in such a sentence is the role of an instrument. واحنا يعني حتى بالعربي الانسترومنت هي a tool, وسيلة أو أداة. لكن if the action or if the verb is not an action, in this case the subject is called experiencer. هنا فرق بين the boy kick the ball مثلا and the boy feels sad. You see? Is there an action in the sentence? No. The verb feels here refers to feeling or sense. So verbs of feelings, of senses, require a subject, human, animate, but we don't call it agent, we call it experiencer. Okay? الاعتبار, the verb is a verb that shows feeling or sense or senses. واضح? So we have instrument, أداة يعني, knife, razor, any pen, pencil, any type of instrument or tool which is used by an agent or by a doer of an action or by the subject of the sentence itself. And we have experiencer if the subject does not, the grammatical subject, I mean the agent, does not perform an action, but it shows feeling or sense. Another type is location, source, and goal. Look at this sentence. I live in Basra. What is Basra? Basra is a noun, and here it is part of a prepositional phrase, adverbial phrase in Basra. But the semantic role of the word Basra is the role of a location. What is Basra? Basra is a location, but it is used here. Of course, this is a prepositional phrase اللي هي in Basra اللي هي adverbial. لكن the semantic role احنا قلنا we are talking about semantic roles today. The role played by the word Basra in the sentence is location. لكن when I say I moved from Basra to Baghdad. Now, the word Basra here is not a source. Sorry, it's not a location. It is a source. يعني the place from which we move. While Baghdad is goal, the place we go to. From to. So we move from Basra to Baghdad. So Basra here in this sentence, see, in this sentence it is a location, just a location. موقع. But here it refers to a place we move from, so we call it a source. While Baghdad is a goal, هدف يعني. The place we move to. Okay? So these are the most common semantic features played by semantic roles, by grammatical elements or the items of the sentence. Of course, there is another terminology, there are other parts, لكن هذه الأهم والمشهورة, the most common and famous semantic roles found in your book and part of your syllabus. Okay, this is all for today. As I said, I don't want to have a very long lecture. Hopefully things are clear, and this is the end of our lecture for today. Wish you all the best.